Hello, good afternoon. This is Dr. Matthew Ademola, your instructor for the course. We are in chapter 6 this week, and I want to share some of the solutions that you have in the back of the chapter with you. Okay, so this is problem 6.4 right here, and let us quickly read the problem. It says external financing. Antivirus Incorporated expects its sales next year to be 2.5 million. Inventory and account receivable will increase 480,000 to accommodate this sales level. The company has a steady profit margin of 15% with a 35% dividend payout. How much external financing will the firm have to seek? Assume there is no increase in liabilities other than that which will occur with the external financing. Okay, right here we have the solution. Okay, basically this is what you do. You have the 2.5 million here, you multiply that by the 15% profit margin, and then you have $375,000, and then you back out the dividend payout, which is 35% of this. So what you do then, you have 243,750 once you take this from this, and then you have $40,000 increase in assets, and then you take this amount away from that amount, and your external funds is 236,250. It looks pretty simple. Everything is right there, but I just thought you might find it challenging. Okay, so let us continue with problem 6.5. Problem 6.5 is a little more difficult, and you're gonna have to pay a lot of attention as I explain the solutions to you. It says level versus seasonal production, and this is associated with learning objective 1. Antonio Banderas and Scarfs makes headwear that is very popular in the fall-winter season. Units sold are anticipated as follows: October 1,250, November 2,250, December 4,500, January 3,500. Total for the fall-winter season is 11,500. If seasonal production is used, it is assumed that inventory will directly match sales for each month and there will be no inventory build-up. However, Antonio decides to go with level production to avoid being out of merchandise, which makes a lot of sense for a merchandising company, because if they're out of merchandise, then they're going to lose customers. He will produce 11,500 items over 4 months at a level of 2,875 per month. So if you divide this by 4, you have an average of 2,875. What is the ending inventory at the end of each month? Compare the unit sales to the units produced and keep a running total. B. If the inventory costs $8 per unit and will be financed at the bank at a cost of 12%, what is the monthly financing cost and the total for 4 months? Use 1% of the monthly rate. So let us now see how we're going to solve this problem. Okay, so right here we have the units sold in each month. We have the units produced in each month right here. So if you take the units sold from the units produced, so you have 1625. So the ending inventory for October is 1625. For November, you have 2250 units sold, 2075 units produced. So what is left will be 2075 minus 2250, which is 625. Okay, and then in inventory with 2250. Okay, how did they get that? You add the 625 plus the 1625, okay, get 2250. Why did you add them? Because the 1625 was the ending inventory as of last month, and this is the change in inventory for this month. If there was nothing here, okay, if there was nothing last month, the ending inventory for the 2-month period will be 625. But because we had 1625 last month, if you add this to the 1625, you get 2250. December, units sold 4,500, units produced 2075, so that's a shortfall. So right there you have 1625 which was less than what was actually produced. Okay, they sold 625 more than what they produced. So you have the 625 here. How? Because this is now a negative. Negative this plus 2250, you get a positive 625. In January, you have 3500 sold. You have 2075. Okay, so there's a shortfall of 1625. A positive 1625 and a negative 1625 will give you 0. So that takes care of the first question. This first question was, what will be the ending inventory at the end of the period? Okay, how come it came to 0? Because we actually applied units sold against the units produced. All right, and eventually it's going to be 0 as we continue to do the addition and subtraction. Okay, for B now, October 1625, ending inventory, which is from here, November 1625, December 1625, and January 0. So this column right here is actually here. Okay, now, so total units, you have $8 per unit. All right, so if you multiply 1625 by 8, that is 13,000. 2250 by 8, 18,000. 625 by 8, 5,000. And then you have zeros. You add all this together, okay? You take this from this, the difference, the financing cost, I'm sorry. The financing cost is 1% of this. So 1% of 13,000 is 130. 1% of 18,000 is 180. 1% of this is 50. So what is total financing cost? 360. So that answers the second question. All right. So let me see what else I can share with you here. Let me look for another problem that may be challenging. And let me give you the answers to that. Okay, let us continue with problem number 10, which is linked to learning objective 5. And here is the question. Here is the problem here. It says, assume that Horgan Surgical Instruments Company has $2,500,000 in assets. If it goes with a low liquidity plan for the assets, it can earn a return of 18%, but with a high liquidity plan, the return will be 14%. If the firm goes with a short-term financing plan, the financing cost on the $2,500,000 will be 10% with a long-term financing plan. The financing cost on the $2,500,000 will be 12%. Review table 611 for parts A, B, and C of this problem. So A, compute the anticipated return after financing costs with the most aggressive asset financing mix. B, compute anticipated return after financing costs with the most conservative asset financing mix. C, compute the anticipated return after financing costs with the two moderate approaches in the asset financing mix. D, would you necessarily accept the plan with the highest return after financing costs? Briefly explain. Okay, so right here, all right, for A, which is the most aggressive, you have low liquidity of $2,500,000 times 18%, which is what we have here, okay, which is 450. Short-term financing is what? This is 2.5 million times 10%. The short-term financing, okay, this, if you take this and then you take this from this, you have 400, which is the anticipated return. All right, for B, we're going to do the same thing using the numbers here. High liquidity, 2.5 times 14%, that is 350. Long term, 2.5 times 12, 290. Anticipated return, 50,000. Moderate approach. Lower liquidity, 25 million times this, 450. And then long-term financing times 12, you back out the 300,000 from 450, you have 150. Or if you decide to go high liquidity, you would have 2.5 million times 14%, which is 350,000. Short-term financing of 2.5 times 10%, which is minus 250, which is this. So the solution to do is you may not necessarily select the plan with the highest return. You must also consider the risk inherent in the plan. Of course, some firms are able to take risks more than others. The ultimate concern must be for maximizing overall valuation of the firm through a judicious consideration of risk-return options. Okay, so that is the short video. Just wanted to share solutions of these problems with you. Okay, if you have any questions, you can let me know. Thank you so much. I'll see you online.